Welcome to the Businesstalk podcast. I am your host Deepak from India. I am delighted to welcome today's distinguished guest, Monica Angst, founder of CultureNow from Switzerland, currently living in Brazil. Just as mission place is an essential in the culinary world, culture awareness is vital in international life. It's a philosophy that has shaped both the personal and professional journey of Monica, whose cross-cultural experiences inspire her to build bridges across diverse perspectives through Culture Now. Drawing from a rich background in global engagement, Monica established Culture Now to offer both the know-how and do-how required to navigate the complexities of international interactions. Certified by the Co-Active Training Institute and recognized as an associated practitioner by the Culture Factory Group, she provides the tools, insights, and support needed for businesses, executives, and their families, particularly those living or working across cultures. Her strength lies in helping individuals and organizations understand diverse contexts and successfully adapt to transformative new beginnings. Through keynote speeches, workshops, and tailored programs, she collaborates with international companies to foster culture awareness, enable conflict-free communication, and prepare teams for success in global environments. In this episode, Monica shares valuable insights from her research and experience on the theme Face, Pride, and Power, the hidden rules behind global negotiations. Let's begin this fascinating conversation by warmly welcoming Monica Angst to the show. Monica, it's a real privilege to have you with us. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Deepak, for having me at your podcast. I'm very honored to be with you here. And like you told before, I'm traveling around the world since 2 decades with the family. I worked and lived in 4 countries and in Europe and South America, 2 continents now it's here. And pride and faith is so important. I work on this, and every day I see more how important national culture is in negotiation.
Yeah. Monica, how do concepts like face, pride, and national identity subtly shape the way negotiations unfold in different regions of the world?
So you speak at the invisible rules at the table. So long before anyone speaks in a meeting room, there are already full, the meeting rooms. They are full of expectations about respect, about status, and how disagreements are handled or how feedback is done. So coming back to face, pride, and national identity. Face means how a person wants to be treated. And we all want to be treated with competence, respect, and not embarrassed. And pride is about who they represent, who we represent. Do we present myself as a person? Do I represent my group, my family, my company, or also a country could be? And it's very important and depends on your national identity. And the national identity shapes what good behavior means for you in this context. What does good behavior means, good behavior means for respect for you as a Indian person or for me as a Swiss person. And that depends on your national country or national culture. So what I love to explain is about wine. Every negotiation is like sharing a bottle of wine. So if you rush, you miss the aroma from the wine. And if you show respect and opens the wine opens as well. So face is the glass. So if you handle it carefully, it doesn't break, no? And pride is the terroir, the soil where the grapes grow. And every soil is different. The soil in Spain, the soil in Chile, the soil in California. And then we have the national identity, the climate. Our national identity or the climate says us how we have to handle this grape with this soil. And that brings us to the best results. And that's the same with people in international negotiation.
Monica, in Western Europe, where history and tradition often blend with modern diplomacy, how do values like dignity and status influence business negotiations?
That's a very good question. Dignity and status in Western Europe, it's very different. Dignity and status in Western Europe is not shouted loudly. It's assumed. And the past is always by you and frames the conversation before the meeting starts. Okay, dignity and status in Western Europe, it's a very good question. Because dignity and status, it's not showed loudly in Western Europe. We assumed it. We assume it. And the past frames the conversation before the meeting starts, like the expectations, what we have to other persons. So titles, process, and preparations, these signals respect for us while moderation in tone protects dignity. In Western Europe, progress comes from not from pressure, it comes from demonstrating seriousness. Europe means respect is framed from structure and clarity and not for closeness like in other countries of the world.
Latin America is known for its strong sense of collective pride and hierarchy. How do these traits appear at negotiation table, especially during high stakes or cross-border deals?
So you speak about pride and hierarchy in Latin America. Latin America negotiation is very personal. In this part of the world, you make negotiations with a person and not with a company. And pride is always collective. It's never meant just one person. You always speak for your group, for your family, for your company, or always also for your country. And hierarchy is very clear. So you have to know who is the decider, who takes the decisions, and show the respect for the rule. So you come forward with your negotiation. And especially by cross-border businesses, trust comes first. And in South America, trust is common from relationship. So please take time, build first relationship, and then comes the numbers and the solution flows. If you miss this, you will never move forward or very, very slowly. And that's so you will lose a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of good people will leave frustrated this business or this conversation.
Monica, you mentioned historical memory as a factor. Could you share an example of how past colonial, political, and economic experiences continue to shape present-day negotiation styles in Europe or Latin America?
Yeah, you're right. The historical memory is part of our culture. It frames our culture and depends on the religion, on the climate, on the war that we have, institutions that we have or had. So Europe's past had a lot of conflicts and a strong and long institution relationship. And this means that we prefer rules, contracts, and processes. And we can bring these rules and processes to paper. So we can show by paper that you can trust in me. And at the other side, we have Latin America, and there were a lot of wars or instability from external controllers or instability from political side. So the people couldn't believe to the papers. They need the relationship because their group is important for them. So they can trust to the group, to the family, to their friends. And the personal credibility is much more important than paper. And that means that a few cultures ask first for guarantees, and they mean paper or structure or rules, and others first for relationship to make trust. And then you can come in business. That's also part of history, and history is always your partner in connection with culture.
What role do formalities, titles, and social hierarchy play in establishing trust and credibility in negotiations across Europe and Latin America?
Conflict and disagreement. Do we bring it to the point? And in Europe, we try to avoid conflicts and disagreements or misunderstandings. And for that, we have the past. We made the rules, we made the process, we handle it with carefully. And so we try to avoid these conflicts, that we don't crack the glass, because we don't like to crack the glass. And in Latin America, when we have a conflict in our family or in our business, we try to handle it very, very careful, because first come the relationship, that also we don't break the glass totally, because if the glass is once broken, it's very hardly to go forward. And giving feedback or hard open confrontation is risky on both sides. It's very common that you express indirectly and with patience, that you don't break or the rules or the glass.
Monica, many multinational corporations struggle with cultural nuances. What common mistakes do Western negotiators make when engaging and deal with Latin America or Southern Europe?
On the world, formality, titles, and hierarchy, when you know this and when you know when you have to use it and how you have to use it, is like a handshake at the door. In Europe, it signals you are professional. You know how to handle it, and it makes trust as well. And in Latin America, it signals respect. You respect this person, you know who has the power to make decisions, or you know what's behind this formality. So it opens doors and helps you to make the next steps easier, and all flows much easier. That's all. A handshake in the world.
Monica, looking ahead, as the globalization accelerates and generations shift, are these cultural influences on negotiation weakening, adapting, or becoming even more significant?
Okay, the most or biggest Western mistakes is confusing speed with effectiveness. Many companies move too fast. They think first or only on numbers. They are well prepared. They have their plans. They have their structure, but they don't know how to build trust. And trust is built here in South America through a relationship, how we told before. And this needs time. So they should spend much more time in build relationship and not underestimate this. When you underestimate or skip relationship and you can't build this trust, In Latin America, this feels very cold. And in Southern Europe, it feels disrespectful. Skipping hierarchy and speaking to the wrong person and ignoring titles slows the trust and the flow of the business down as well, till it stops. Depends on the context.
Monica, looking ahead, as globalization accelerate and generations shift, are these cultural influences on negotiation weakening, adapting, or becoming even more significant?
Yes, a big and a clear yes. These influences are not disappearing, they are evolving, they are growing, they are always here, and they becoming a bigger influence and a bigger importance. Because globalization may change the packaging of the wine, but the taste of the wine still comes where the wine is grown or made. So where the person is coming from the soil, from the terroir, and how the people feels what's right or wrong. Yes, it becomes more important every day. With every negotiation, it becomes more important. These influences are not disappearing, they are growing, they are evolving. Globalization may change the packaging of the wine, but the taste still comes from where the wine is made, from the soil and from the climate. The more global we work, the more important are the values of the persons. So we have to be aware where the people at the other side of my conversation is. I'm a Swiss person here in Brazil. You are an Indian person in India. I had a call today with a Swedish person in Sweden and with a French person in the USA. So we speak all English. Do we think the same? Is the same right for you and the same right for me? What's respect for you and what's respect for me? That's different. And if we are aware about these points, we can grow together. We can use the strongness from you and the strongness from me or my country and build something bigger. And it's much more important every day. That's my point of view. And every day more companies like I have with CultureNow is more important and relevant for the companies to cross borders and do business in other countries.
Listeners, thank you for joining us on this insightful episode featuring Monica Angst, founder of CultureNow. Her reflections on faith, pride, and power have illuminated how cultural values quietly but profoundly shape the art of global negotiation. From navigating social hierarchies in Latin America to grasping nuances of dignity and identity in Europe, Monica's expertise reminds us that success in international collaboration demands more than strategy. It requires empathy, awareness, and cultural fluency. On behalf of our listeners and Business Talk, I extend our sincere thanks to Monica for a thoughtful and engaging conversation. We look forward to following your continued impact in this essential field. Thank you once again, Monica.
Thank you very much, Deepak, and have a lovely weekend.